Hey there, it's been a hot minute since we have done, or I have done, a Bible verse with you guys. So here we are. We're going to do one today. And I picked Philippians 4:4 through 9. And I know that I have done some of Philippians before in the past. I'm sorry. It is such a favorite of mine, and I want to talk about it again. So here we go. I love this passage so much. It overflows with encouragement and a divine reminder to rejoice, trust, and live in the peace of God. And it is one of my 5 go-to verses whenever I need to remind myself of God's grace and mercy and blessings in my life. Let's start with verse 4:4. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. It's really important to note that Paul is writing this letter from prison. He wasn't chilling on a beach somewhere. He was in prison, in chains, and he's telling people to rejoice.
Why did he say it twice?
Paul said it twice because joy in the Lord isn't based on circumstances. It's rooted in knowing that God is in control. No matter what life throws at us, we have a reason to rejoice. Verse 5 tells us, let your gentleness be known to all men, the Lord is at hand. That phrase, the Lord is at hand, reminds us that God is near. He sees you, he knows what's on your heart. And when we live with that awareness, we can walk in gentleness toward both our friends and our enemies alike, and not in anxiety or fear. And speaking of anxiety, verse 6 gives us a powerful antidote. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. I can't tell you how many times I've had to pause my monkey brain and say this to myself. Paul isn't merely saying, just stop worrying. He's giving us a really great trade. Exchange your worries for prayer. So instead of carrying stress, lay it down at God's feet with thanksgiving. Why? Because gratitude shifts our focus from what's wrong to what God has already done for us. Here's the promise in verse 7. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. That's not just any peace, it's God's peace. It's the kind that doesn't make sense when life is chaotic. It's the kind that protects your heart and your mind like a divine security system. But Paul doesn't stop there. He gives us a practical way to hold on to this peace in verse 8. Whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report. If there is any virtue, and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. So, what are you filling your mind with? The news, social media, negativity? Paul says to be intentional. Fix your thought on what is good, pure, and praiseworthy, because what you dwell on shapes your peace. And then finally in verse 9, he says, the things which you learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and the God of peace will be with you. So not only will we have peace, we will have the God of peace himself walking with us. Today's message was a simple one. Rejoice always. Pray about everything and think about good things, and let God's peace guard your heart. No matter what's going on around you, the Lord is near. And that is more than enough reason to rejoice. Okay, thanks. Bye.